shows I will like recommend to everyone, because regardless of like what you like or don't like, Rick and Morty has something for pretty much everyone, so it's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, everyone's favorite strike. Boom. Yeah, so I guess we decided we're not going to start waiting too long, right? Oh, shoot, let me turn off game volume before I forget. Yeah, so I don't think there's any preparation stuff we have to talk about before this episode. Do you have anything?
No?
No? Okay. Well, make sure I'm live. Can you make sure I'm... What if I started...
Yeah, let me refresh.
Oh, yeah, we're live. I'm getting comments already. Alright, here we go. Hey guys, Scarrow9 here. Welcome back to the Last Word Podcast Live, episode 37. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, JC Basketball.
What's up, everybody?
My co-host. Oh, man. Oh, jeez. Anyways, so yeah, episode 37. No pleasantries or anything today, so we can hop straight into the weekly update. And pretty much the only thing that I could think of, I might have missed something, but I don't think so, is that the Xbox, the things that weren't on Xbox, the PlayStation exclusives for Destiny 1, are now all over on Xbox. So we did a video with an opening for those. If you guys are interested in completing your exotic collection, definitely hop over and get those things on your character. You still get the Grimoire cards, you don't get the score, but you can do the strike, you can play on sector, whatever it is, 618 or whatever, and all of that. So that's pretty fun. I think that's pretty much it for the weekly update. There's some people in chat saying it's offline. JZ, can you see me?
It actually didn't pull you up. Let me refresh.
Let's see.
I do not see you
Interesting. Let me check.
on YouTube.
Why would it not be going? Yeah, let me check real quick for sure.
I guess I want to pass the question off.
Okay. That's not me. Am I live or no? I don't see me anywhere. Do you see me anywhere? Oh, it's back on? Oh, yeah. I'm live now.
It says live now.
Okay, I'm gonna rewind, see how much we got. I could just start over. There's no shame in starting over. No, yeah, we got all of it. Okay, I'm on YouTube as all of it. Alright, cool. We're gonna keep going. I'll probably have to edit that out for the iTunes version, but yeah, so I don't think there's anything else for the weekly stuff. But we do have a lot of really awesome stuff to talk about today in terms of endgame content for everyone who is a pretty hardcore player of Destiny. So I want to start off with Iron Banner, which returns next Tuesday. And they actually switched this up. It no longer launches at 1 a.m. Eastern, or 1 p.m. Eastern, excuse me. They're now doing it at the daily reset, which is pretty interesting. So you have a couple more hours to grind that out. And so pretty much with Iron Banner, we got confirmation that it is returning as control only. So initially, just right off the bat, JZ, do you like that it's going to be control only, or would you rather rotation, or what? How would you like your Iron Banner in a perfect world?
No, because you know, if it was on the rotation that they have on the quick play playlist, we'd get Supremacy 90% of the time anyways. So. And I'm not a big fan of Supremacy.
That's the thing, man.
I don't know how much you like it. But...
I like Supremacy because of my playstyle, how I'm always like, you know, last hoping it up.
Yeah,
so
in somebody's face.
Yeah, exactly. So Supremacy isn't anything different for me because it doesn't hurt me to just walk 2 steps and get it, right? But I get why some people don't like it for sure. So yeah, next Tuesday you'll be able to go into the tower. Lord Saladin will be somewhere. I'm actually really interested to see where they put him because the tower is pretty full already. So that'll be pretty interesting to see if he like stands next to Lord Shaxx or he has his own area or whatever. And then on top of that, they got rid of all of the reward system where it doesn't. The way I was looking at it, it doesn't even look like there will be stuff like dropping at the end of games and stuff. Other than the regular Crucible
They
armor.
have to have it.
You think?
There's no way they can't have that. Yeah, they have to have that.
Okay, maybe.
I don't see that not.
Oh.
Like, like what else would drop? Like normal Crucible stuff?
Yeah, the normal Crucible
They
stuff.
have to have something drop.
Yeah, I would. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's just gonna be normal Crucible stuff. Yeah, and the majority of the rewards are going to be structured like pretty much everything else in Destiny 2, where if you win, you get tokens. Well, if you participate, you get tokens. If you win, you get more tokens, and then you can turn them into Lord Salad Bar, and you get packages for armor and weapons and stuff. And yeah, there's that. Just real quick in chat, VIP Blitz asks, is Lord Salad Bar back? And from what I've heard, he is back. He's going to be under the Traveler.
Bungie said, yeah.
Yeah. So pertaining to the under the Traveler thing, they did say if you go in the API and you look at the quest for it, it says see him in the Iron Banner area underneath the Traveler or whatever. I'm thinking that's more like metaphorical for like the tower being, pretty much under the Traveler. Just because if you read the This Week at Bungie, it says he's going to be back in the tower. It doesn't mention any new social space or anything like that. So I think he's just going to be in a corner somewhere. And we'll have to, or maybe, the main part of the tower is like 3 floors up and down. So maybe he'll be on like the floor above Lord Shaxx. There isn't anything there. There's just like an empty little wedge thing. So I'm thinking he might be there. But no, I don't think he'll be in anywhere separate. He'll just be sitting around the tower, in my opinion. Do you think they would do a whole separate instance for Lord Saladin, JZ?
No, he's totally going in the farm.
Oh, in the farm?
They're repurposing the farm. No, I'm just joking. the freaking tower is huge. Like, there's plenty of space for him anywhere in the tower. Like, honestly.
That actually brings up a good point. Do you think they'll ever use the farm again? Or do you think that's just kind of a throwaway space?
I think it's more of a throwaway now.
Yeah, I mean, it.
Why do you need the farm anymore after the tower?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go see Tyra Karn, I guess, if you like her better than Rahul, excuse me.
Rahul.
So that's the thing about the tower. So they were talking about before, they wanted to focus on one social space. They were really pushing that hard, and obviously there were 2. But I think the way they got around that is that they hid the farm. You have to like go into the European Dead Zone sub-screen and then find it there. So yeah, I really don't think the farm will ever come back. But yeah, so I'm pretty sure Saladin will just be in the tower regularly. But the armor though, like, I don't think I'm alone when I say that armor is probably my favorite Iron Banner armor yet.
I'm never taking that Warlock helmet or Titan helmet off. Probably.
Dude, you know what I love most about the armor sets? It's not the helmets rather. It's not the gold embroidery. It's not the horns. It's the fact that the Warlock and the Titan both have man buns.
Yes. Well, and not just that. Did you see the Titan arms with the wolves like looking like they're eating his shoulder?
Yeah, it looks very good. It's like a combination of all the best things about the previous 3 years of Iron Banner armor all put together. Like, even the Hunter Cloak looks very similar to, like, the Mantle of Gellion, but it's got, like, the upper trim. It just looks super good. Like, all of it looks just fantastic for sure.
Well, and I can't wait to put gold shaders on that rather than those green, ugly...
That's what I was thinking. They always put the ugliest green for that. Yeah, a gold.
That at all.
Any gold shader. I was thinking, I love the raid armor, but pretty much the main reason I love the raid armor is because of the gold and purple and white aesthetic. So if I'm going to save up a bunch of those shaders and throw it on that armor, and I'm pretty sure it'll look amazing. So I'm pretty excited
How
for
sick would it be if they have that textured gold one from Destiny 1? I think it was Gold Spiral, and then it makes the gun mostly gold. It'll be really good looking.
Yeah, for sure.
On some of the weapons.
That's it. That's another thing. We've never seen, Iron Banner weapons with different shaders, so that'll be really nice too.
Yeah.
With
we haven't seen Iron Banner weapons period yet, have we?
In the trailer for the Kill Tracker Ghost, like a year ago, not really, it was a couple months ago, you could see the Iron Banner sidearm and grenade launcher. They just had the Iron Banner logo, like the little circle thing, like what the medallions looked like, that thing on the back of the gun, like on the action of the gun whenever they fired. But other than that, they had shaders on them, so you couldn't really tell what they looked like in the default state, and they weren't like any amazing shaders or anything like that. So, but other than that, no, we don't know anything about the weapons. One thing I'm really interested to see is, you know, Iron Banner traditionally has some of the best Crucible weapons. You know, Nerwin's Mercy, the Scout Rifle from Colavance's Duty. All these weapons that just tend to be super powerful in Crucible. And so I'm wondering if they're going to be continuing that trend. Because, you know, some of the Trials weapons, the Prosecutor, is super good. But then some of them are just kind of like, meh.
Yeah,
and
but it doesn't really outclass the Uriel's gift, though.
Exactly. So there's not really any Trials weapons that are, like, super mind-blowing right now. There's a couple that can compete in their respective stuff. But for the most part, they're just unique weapons for the design, right? And so I'm wondering if Iron Banner weapons are going to have, like, usage in mind, or if they're just going to be, look at these really cool designed weapons. They don't do much, but they look hella cool. Yeah, I mean, what do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, because, like, well, the Trials weapons, the Scout Rifle is pretty unique on its own right. You know, it's different than, because it's a little bit higher damage than the Nameless Midnight archetype.
Mm-hmm.
So it fills a void that there's not many Scout Rifles in that category right now. The Adjudicator is similar to the Antiope D. If I don't know if that's a very rare drop, but it's very similar to that one. So, like, hopefully we get some, especially to fill in some of the gaps of the ones that we're missing of the.
Yeah.
Because we're missing some archetypes on some of the, or not many in that archetype, and hopefully they're usable weapons. Because, like, that's all I want is I don't want overpowered weapons, but I want weapons that I want to use in different situations. Like,
yeah,
that's the type of player I am. Like, I like to plan my guns around the scenario.
So I actually like that, and kind of going to that point, Gara in chat just pointed out the Clever Dragon as well, and that made me think, you know, we don't have, except for the Lincoln Green, we have one 740 rate bullet per minute weapon, and that was the Future War Call.
The Future War Call
that never showed up, or it didn't win, you know, so we don't have it. So I'm really hoping, since that is, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, because I've been kind of looking at how many weapons per archetype there are, and I believe that is the least congested archetype with only one weapon in it. Mm-hmm. Then, so I'm really hoping we do get something like the Clever Dragon. Hopefully, it's not as like toxic towards the community. You know, hopefully it's good, but it's not ridiculous. But I do want a really high rate of fire pulse rifle. I want a sidearm that's not an Amalong sidearm. You know, I want a really solid, like, primary sidearm, not an elemental one. That kind of stuff. Because
all the good ones are elemental. Well, and they don't have a, other than the Lincoln Green is pretty much the only consensus as the PvP pulse rifle right now, because pulse rifles are in a really bad spot.
That's the thing,
the
like,
two low rate of fire ones.
The Vigilance Wing is like, it could be super good. I still love it. I use it all the time, but I get that a majority of people don't like it, and that's just because it can't compete with the high caliber rounds. So if the Mida ever takes a tank, I mean, the things in the Vigilance Wing category, you know, with that rate of fire, those are going to start to shine through. It's weird that pulse rifles have never been in a position where they've been held down super hardcore by scout rifles. And so I don't think a lot of people know how to, like, respond to that, really. And so it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how Bungie tries to fix this, for sure. But yeah,
it's good because scout rifles have never really been in a place, especially in PvP, ever, that I can remember.
Other than the Mida, for sure.
The Mida.
Yeah. And they're all pretty good, so
it's actually fun. Yeah, it's actually fun having them as a viable option. And, like, since year one, not pulse rifles, auto rifles haven't been in a decent place for the game either. So just having those two archetypes, that basically it's been 3 years since, you know, they were viable in PvP is nice. Because I always use scout rifles in PvE activities, but it's a little bit different monster when you get into the Crucible against other people.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, you have so many. Like, the Nameless Midnight's pretty viable. You have the Manan. You have the Future War Cult one. I'm literally using it right now, and I can't think of the name of it because the Future War Cult weapons have the longest, stupidest
isn't
names.
Isn't it the Pleiades, correct?
Yeah, there you go. I don't. They go so over the top with the Future War Cult weapons names, man. Yeah, so you have all that.
Well,
I'd say the only
level of education people have.
Yeah, fair. To the only scout rifle I'd say that really isn't usable in the Crucible right now would be the Dead Orbit one that they got for winning the faction rally, which is pretty bad.
Is that usable in any activity?
I don't. That was so disappointing. Like, I'm happy that Dead Orbit won. I would have rather Future War Cult, but as long as New Monarchy didn't win, but the rewards kind of suck, so it sucks. But you know, but yeah, that's pretty much Iron Banner. Did I forget to hit on anything? Is there anything that okay, here's a question. Are you happy that they're doing away with the bounty system and instead they're adding the daily and seasonal milestones instead, like pretty much everything else? Or
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to play it. Like,
yeah,
see. Like, because does it promote me to play after I get those daily bounties done, or does it not? So, like, I guess that's gonna be the question. It'll be nice to have daily things to do in there because they haven't done that since, like, what, year 2?
Yeah.
Year 3, you had you had your bounties, and then you had your weekly bounties, or your big bounties, and that was it. Once they were done, you had to, it was in-game drops.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. I think they're making it more accessible by doing that for them. That seems to be their main selling point, is accessibility for a vast majority of people. So
right.
I would expect high amounts of drops, to be honest, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's pretty much it for Iron Banner, though. I think if anyone's wondering about like a suggested loadout, as much as I hate to say this, Mida, Blast Hope, Prosecutor, the pretty standard ones. That's, I mean, if it's good in Crucible, it'll be even better in Iron Banner kind of thing. But yeah, everything's Control, and that's pretty much all to say about Iron Banner, right? Do you have anything else?
No, it'll be fun just being able to play Control, though, like actually picking a game mode and being able to stick with it rather than...
Yeah, I think I've played like 3 games of Control
Supremacy.
since Destiny 2 came out, so...
Yeah, it's like the least like rolled one of all the ones when you go in that playlist. At least for me, it has been.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, so that's Iron Banner. Pretty much the next big thing is going to be the prestigious raid, which also comes out next week on October 10th. But this one will launch in the afternoon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon for Eastern, 10 a.m. in the morning for people on the Pacific time zone. Do your appropriate conversions as such. But we have a lot of rewards that we know are going to come from the Imperial raid. But the really interesting thing that they said is that they really push the idea that this will not increase your light level. This seems like there will be no increase to light level, is what I was getting from that. The activities at 300, and it pretty much seems like the drops are going to stay at 300 or 305 with this with a mod. But we do know that we're getting all sorts of really cool armor with the extra holographic purple bits. You get an aura if you complete it that week. There's some other stuff in the database that we're not really sure how it ties in. But just first off, Jay-Z, what do you think about this being more like the PvE version of going flawless, where it doesn't boost your light level anymore, but you do get these really cool aesthetic, new shaders and new armor pieces and stuff to really show how advanced of a raider you are to other people? Would you rather that it increase the light level, or are you happy with it just being like an extra achievement to hit?
Well, having all my characters at 305 for the past almost 2 weeks now, I would obviously like the light level raised. It doesn't make sense to me because they've always raised it by 10 to 15 light levels every time they drop the hard mode raid or the heroic or the prestige raid in this case.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't get it. I think that they might raise it a little bit, like 10 levels. It just doesn't make any sense unless they're coming out with, like I hypothesized, a 3rd difficulty setting.
For challenge mode maybe they will, right?
Yeah, like 330 gear or something like that. because they've got to keep that. They got to keep players coming back for something, and that to me, that's raising the light level keeps people grinding for that extra set of levels as you go through. So, yeah, I hope they do. I really like the gear better than the base stuff. Like some of the armor pieces I didn't really like that much, and I really don't like the Trials Warlock helmet. But
the Fisherman hat. Come on, man. It's overpowered. You can poke people's eyes out with the little spikes on it.
Well, I also like that bigger, as you're coming around a corner, people can see you first, so you're the first one to be shot at.
Oh,
so,
that's fair, man.
Makes you a target.
That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it looks nice. You said they were going to introduce some new shaders, or a new shader.
The new shader,
which,
yeah.
If it's
exactly like the armor.
Callus selected.
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's just
selected is amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing. I actually like Callus's selected more than the super, because all the new stuff, for those of you guys in the chat and stuff, or listening on iTunes that haven't seen it, it's essentially the raid armor that we have now, but instead of white being the main base color, it's like super gold. It's super gold with like purple details. And I kind of like the white with the gold details.
But they're like holographic purple details.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm hoping is, if you get the Prestige armor and you throw the Callus's selector shader on it, or selected shader on it, I hope it'll maintain the same really awesome white gold look with the purple holographics over it, and make it look like a super version of the normal version raid armor. I'm just not a fan. Like, I really do like gold usually, but it just... There's something about it. It looked like tarnished almost, It was like really dark gold. And I'll be interested to see how the different shader combinations look for sure. But yeah, sorry. You like all of it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks nice. I wish some of the things were better designed, but beggars can't be choosers, and it's nice to get new gear regardless of if you like the look of it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially the new shaders. So.
Now we have an extra shader to try to fit into our inventory. Yay!
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know all the green shaders you keep, but most of those are pretty subpar in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
it just takes so long to delete them though, But
yeah.
I'll have to go through here soon.
I wish there was a delete all button.
I'm sure there will be sometime in the future, hopefully. So yeah, so we have all of that. The one interesting thing is looking through the database, and we were talking about this last time we had a raid, Jay-Z, and I went back and I tried to make sure. It doesn't look like they're adding any new weapons. Instead, they're doing what they've traditionally done, where the rest of the weapons that haven't dropped yet will be dropping. So let's say the sniper and hand cannon seem to be bugged. I don't think they're supposed to be dropping for normal mode. I think they are supposed to be part of the Prestige. But then you have things like the raid sidearm, a raid grenade launcher. All these weapon types that we haven't had yet seem to be part of the Prestige mode drops, which will be really interesting to see if there's any new standouts. And then one thing Jay-Z was talking about, the possibility, since we have an elemental version of a pulse rifle, if we'll get a kinetic pulse rifle as well, or things of that sort. So it'll be interesting to see how in depth they go with it. For right now, though, all we have confirmation for are the general weapon types that we don't have yet. Like I said, like a grenade launcher and that type of stuff. Yeah, it's pretty much the raid stuff. In terms of rewards, it's weird, So the one thing I'm a little bit confused with myself is if you complete the Prestige version of the raid, are you going to get different versions of the tokens, or are you going to get regular Callus tokens, which then you take back to Benedict for regular raid rewards, or are you going to?
I think you're going to get. There's going to be a new version. There has to be.
Yeah, but that's the thing. So that will be, if it is a new version of the tokens, that means there will have to be a whole new sweeper bot for specifically heroic modes. Because as far as I'm aware, there's no vendor in Destiny right now that accepts two different types of faction currency other than like, you know, planetary materials and their coins. But other than that, has boxes for 2 different loot pools, you know? So I think for simplicity's sake, Bungie would have to have like a second Benedict bot somewhere for that. Or everything's might just drop from the encounters. That's a possibility as well.
Well, they might also just give you normal tokens and be like, well, you can only get this through this, like you were just saying.
Yeah.
Prestige mode.
That's...
So it would make... You have to go through it a lot more times to get everything, which... That would make sense as well, because it's so easy to get pretty much a full set of everything right now.
Yeah.
That, you know, because you get basically 2 full drops after you complete the raid, and then everything that drops in the raid.
And
so,
the clan free reward
what,
too.
6... Yeah, like 6 things. Like, and then if you save up all the tokens and put them on one character, you can get like 8 drops on that one character. You know, raid drops, basically.
Yeah, per week, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sort of going on that, I guess. You know, it's kind of weird to me how they're structuring all of this, and that's the thing that I'm wondering is, you know, after all of the rewards are gone for you know, regular mode and then prestigious mode, what's going to be left for challenge mode? You know, in Destiny in Destiny 1 challenge mode, you know, you have the unique shaders, but after that you have like additional stuff. I'm trying to remember why we did it every time. You had, I guess towards the end there in the Age of Triumph, you had exclusive exotics that could only drop from these challenge modes. And then you
were also guaranteed level drops.
Oh, well. That's right.
Completed it.
And so if we already have all of the drops and there's no exclusive weapons that you can only get from those, like, what's the incentive to do these challenges? So I'll be really interested to see if they do bump up the light level with challenge mode, if they do add new weapons or new ornaments or something that you can only get from those. But that's really speculation for another day after prestige mode drops. I just thought it would be good to kind of bring that up and see if you had any worries about that, or if you think that Bungie's gonna find a way to fix it pretty early on.
No, I think they have a plan in mind. I think they've had the plan in mind for a while. So I'm not too worried about that at all, honestly. Like, there's got to be something either. Like I was hoping for the second versions of all the weapons, you know, the opposite of what they originally dropped, or you know, some different kind of exotic that, or some kind of different rate. I don't know. I can't even hypothesize with it, but they've got to have something. Like,
yeah.
It just, for us to have everything except for the new armor within like the first month of the game just doesn't make sense. And I don't think we spoke, like, does it make sense to you that they dropped the raid on the same day as Iron Banner? Like, why couldn't they?
That's actually my next topic. So I do want to get into that, but before we do, I want to get into like community feedback so we can like bookmark it, if that's cool with you. Okay.
Absolutely.
So Savage Sadistic in chat says, I'm kind of disappointed in the no white level raise, the no new weapons, etc. And so the thing about the white level raise, it makes it interesting for me for a couple of reasons. A, if there's no white level raise, that means for us, whenever we do carries, there won't be any additional pressure on us to take people through the harder version of the raid, right? Because there's no, like, you know, in Destiny 1, whenever we did raid carries, we obviously wanted to get people the best loot. And that entails, you know, higher light levels and stuff. So if they're keeping it at the same light level, we'll be able to take people through the normal raid. And I think that's almost the entire purpose of the Prestige Mode raid. And I'm sure it won't be nearly as difficult in a couple of weeks as it probably will be next week, right when it launches, because we'll get used to it and we'll learn all the great strategies and stuff. But essentially, I'm thinking that their Prestige raid, like I said earlier, is supposed to be the version of Flawless for PvE. It's supposed to be, you know, only the best of the best teams get through it. I'm sure the mechanics are going to be really hard. I'm sure there's going to be no revives. And I think that their whole mentality with the people not having time to play, you know, they want everyone to have an equal time at rewards, is not locking people out of the light level by making such a hard activity be the only way to get light level stuff, but rather just making exclusive armor sets and shaders and stuff at the same light level to show off your achievements. So I'm more on the alright side with that. You know, the thing with the raise and light level, it's good for DLCs and stuff, but I find myself not as excited with the grind to a new light level as I am with the grind immediately after hitting that light level, with getting all of the exotics and the exclusive weapons and the armor. And the end game is where my focus is, not getting to the end game personally. So I'm not too bummed out about that, to be honest. If they do it in the future, I would never like be mad that they're raising the light level, but it's not something I necessarily focus on myself. Yeah, do you have anything to add to any of that, Jay-Z?
I do. I enjoy when there's a new light level raise, because it's almost like, I don't know, like there's nothing like that first week and a half of Destiny 2. There's nothing like that. Like trying to get your character to max light for the raid, and I enjoy that grind. Like, yeah, now I'm at a point where I can start maxing out on my favorite weapons, the 305, and you know, but drops aren't as meaningful since there's no random rolls. There we go on that topic again. We almost went a full episode without it, but you know, like, so without the meaningful drops, in my opinion, unless there's a gun that I'm missing, which I don't think I'm missing any guns right now. Like, other than some of the exotics, but like I just have terrible RNG. But like before, that was the part that I enjoyed, was the grind to get to the next light level, you know, to get to the next max light level, because it gave you another plateau to go over. And even though it's an artificial plateau, because they're just bumping up the light level of all the stuff that, or power level, sorry, of all the stuff that is dropping, it's still, I enjoy the grinding games. So
yeah,
like that speaks to me, I guess, in that aspect.
Yeah, no, I get it. Just to clarify for people coming in, so even with the Prestige raid and Iron Banner, no, it does not seem like we will be getting a light level increase just yet. But that's not to say we won't in the future. And like, you know, some people like that grind, some people don't. You know, everyone likes different aspects of the game, and that's perfectly fine. But I guarantee if we don't get a raise in light level before the Curse of Osiris DLC, we absolutely will when it launches. I mean, heck, if you look at the infusion, as I'm showing on screen, if you're on the YouTube version, infusion already says you can infuse something up to 350. So they already have it in the game coded to go up to 350. So you can guarantee that it's at least going there, but it will definitely go higher, because they know that people want the feeling of growing more powerful, and a great way to do that is to keep increasing the light level, or the power level, as Jay-Z put it. Yeah, let's see if anyone else had anything else. Yeah, Vegan just says, I kind of look at Iron Banner as a fail. No weapon drops post-game, no level increase, etc. I think before I pass judgment on Iron Banner, I'm going to have to play it and really get a feel for it. I mean, those armor sets are enough to play for me, but I realize that's not the mentality that every player has. So I'm anxious to play it.
We're not sure if they're not gonna have weapon drops at the end of it, though. Like we don't know that for
that's true. We are assuming that they're not going to. It's not guaranteed, right? So it's something we'll have to take a look at in the next week, re-examine, see if it was a fail. I've got a lot of faith in Bungie. I think they'll be able to do it quite well. And keep in mind, Iron Banner isn't supposed to be a piece of content for us to feed on exclusively. It's like a placeholder almost to get us to the next point. It's to get us end level gear, so we have something to grind for while they prepare the next big DLC or something like that, while giving people more competitive aspects of the game. Just like with the faction rally, with that, they didn't add anything huge to the game. but they gave you a reason to go back and play the things that they already created while breathing a competitive life into it and giving you more things to collect. So it's essentially the same thing. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it.
I just have a, like, going back out, because we didn't talk about this last week because we thought Future War Cult was going to win. Like, who was subscribing to Dead Orbit and getting all these packages was the question, because all the YouTubers I watched said, go to Future War Cult, they've got the weapons.
Yeah.
We were praising, go to Future War Cult, get as many packages as you can. That was insane how Dead Orbit, because I thought they would be third place, honestly, like, with looking at the weapons and armor
Future
sets.
War Cult was last. So
yeah, like that, like it went complete opposite of what I thought it would be.
Exactly.
Like, complete opposite.
I think after people get this reward, next time people will be a lot more educated and be like, well, that sucked last time. Maybe we should check this out, right? It surprises me with all of these brand new people coming into Destiny 2. Mm-hmm. It really does surprise me that Dead Orbit took it by nearly 2 million packages. That's insane. Like,
yes.
They're just so cool, you know? Like, everyone is drawn to Dead Orbit. It's just a fact.
But that's 40 million extra coins turned in right there. 40 million extra coins.
That's crazy. That's insane. They're rolling in the coins, man. And I mean, if you look at it, if it was 61 million total packages, Dead Orbit won by 2 million, and Future War Cult only lost by a slightly less margin than that. I mean, all three were pretty close then. Like, it had to be, it's, you know, just off the top of my head, that's like a 36, 30, something else split for between the three, you know? What is that, 24?
Yeah,
so
but just think if Dead Orbit had the best weapon, how much they would have won by, though, with the educated people going to that and grinding it out. Like, that's the thing, is like they won by that much with the people like, oh, I'm just going to subscribe to Dead Orbit, blah, 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 without even looking at anything, without even, you know, watching a video on it or anything. Plus, they had the worst shaders, in my opinion. Like, well, not the Future War Cults are always.
Yeah, Future War Cult shaders
like,
always.
Their shaders, but their shaders weren't that great. Like, New Monarchy had by far the best shaders.
They got the hair, man.
The armor set for the. Yeah, and the armor set was amazing for New Monarchy. Like, Dead Orbit really didn't have much going for it this time. Yeah. And that was so confusing.
Yeah, I just, it is really weird to me. But you know, that's how they handle the stuff. Yeah, I'm glad it's coming back. You know, if it was like a one-time thing like Queen's Wrath and Destiny 1, I would be a little bit bummed out. But we'll get another chance at all these weapons again, so I'm not too bugged about that.
As long as we can get that pulse rifle.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
And see, this is what I love about Destiny 2, is there's those weapons that we want, you know? Even though the prestige mode of the raid doesn't necessarily have new weapons, there's still weapons we don't have yet, which are, for all intents and purposes, new. They're just already in the database. So I'll be interested to do that, even if, you know, there's not a huge change in mechanics and it's mostly just difficulty and all of that. I'm excited for the prestige raid. I really am.
Oh, absolutely.
I will be doing it. We'll be streaming it next Tuesday with our raid team. I fully intend on beating it. I can't see what they could do to deter our, like, we're pretty good at the raid. Like, I don't want to sound like we're bragging, but we've done it a lot. We're pretty adept at it, and I don't, unless they just make it stupid hard, I don't see any way that we're not going to beat it, and I can't show off some of the rewards to you guys next week. So fully expect that on Tuesday. But other than that, is that pretty much everything regarding the prestige raid? I think so.
I believe so.
Okay. So back to what Jay-Z asked. As a reminder, he asked, don't you think it's weird that Iron Banner and the raid, the prestige version of the raid, are coming out on the same day? And that was immediately what I thought about, and that's why the third topic of this should be, or that it is on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Should this worry us? And so that's one thing that you can take either way. The first option is Bungie is so confident in the amount of content they have planned and how many, you know, they didn't even wait a full month between Faction Rally and Iron Banner. They just gave it to us, right? In addition to that, in fact, they only waited 2 months. So, or excuse me, 2 weeks, half a month. In addition to that, like, they are launching the Prestige raid there. So, are they so confident in the amount of content that they have before the Curse of Osiris DLC that they're able to double up like this? Or are they worried that some of the player base is not happy with the state of the end game right now, so they're giving everything to us now, causing us to have a larger drought later? And obviously, I hope that they're so confident in the amount of stuff they have left, because obviously, even after this, you know, we only have to wait until December for the DLC. I'm gonna make an educated guess and say like December 10th. I don't know what day of the week that is, so you know, I obviously have no. Wait, did we got a release date for Curse of Osiris, didn't we?
Did we?
I think we did. I think I'm just
that they've confirmed.
Maybe not. It's gonna, so it'll probably be a Tuesday sometime in December. Whatever the closest date to December 10th is, it'll probably be that one, give or take a week. But you know, I really think it is they're confident in the amount of content they have, because you got to still think we have the raid challenge mode, and I would fully expect for faction rallies to return at least once before the next DLC, right? And then on top of that,
yeah,
they could have a plethora of other mini events planned. Like, they could have done so much that is, you know, not a huge amount of effort, but still would add a lot to the game. So I really think they have they're feeling good about the amount of content. But I want to ask you, Jay-Z, do you think this is a retaliation panic move, or do you think this is a calculated one on Bungie's part?
See, I don't even know, because it doesn't make sense, because most people like us want to do both things. So like, luckily I don't think my schedule's very booked next week, but like, if my schedule is booked, I might not be able to get through all the content, and that's frustrating. Like, why don't they just split them up a week? Like, drop Iron Banner this week, and then the Prestige mode raid the following week, and then you get it under your belt before the next set of like faction rallies and Iron Banner comes along. To me, it made no sense. Like, I think I don't want to say it's a retaliation thing, because I don't think that for the average player the end game is lacking. It's for players like us that the end game is lacking right now. And
you got to think there's still trials on the weekend. You still have the normal version of the raid for those who can't do the prestige version. Crazy, like, there's a lot of content out there still. So,
but there's like, we're the 1%ers basically of Destiny.
Yeah.
Like, we get through the content faster than anybody, and so yeah, of course it's lacking for us, but I think for the average player it's not. Like, there's still a bunch of people in our clan that play, you know, pretty often, that are still like 300, 302, 303, you know, in that light level range. So I don't think it's a knee-jerk reaction of that based on that. I honestly think that they messed up their schedule and were like, oh crap, well, we might as well do it anyways, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, like, why release both on the same day?
It is a huge amount of content. So
yeah, well, the prestige mode is probably gonna, hopefully it only takes us about 4 hours at the max, but I mean that's 4 less hours I could have been playing Iron Banner, or, you know, we could have got all 3 raids done in 4 hours, played Iron Banner all week, and then worked on the prestige mode next week. So like,
maybe
I don't understand it.
Maybe, so I guess one way you can look at it, if you break it down like this, so I assume there's going to be 4 challenges. Actually, we know there's going to be 4 challenges because there's 4 challenge emblems. So release 1 a week, so that's an entire month. And assuming that it comes out the first or second week of December, so that gives us, let's say, 7 weeks, or including skipping next week. So other than next week with the content that we already have, we have 7 weeks to fill up with content. One of those weeks is probably going to be a faction rally. You have 4 weeks worth, what did I just say? Challenge modes, excuse me.
Prestige mode, challenge mode, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a lot of stuff. Like, it's not a lot of weeks to fill up with a lot of content, you know, and you still have the revolving challenge modes. You know, they're not one and dones. When they come back, you're still going to want to do them again, more than likely, hopefully. That kind of stuff. So I'm hoping it's a.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I don't think there will be
just
many.
If they release a new raid
What's that?
with Curse. If they release a new raid with Curse, it would make sense for them to try to get everything out of this raid that they can.
Yeah.
Before the next day, because
yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're like, you know, trials. If you're a hardcore trials player, you're already gonna have full sets, right? It's been a month. You're already gonna have full sets. So they're giving them the Iron Banner thing, and then at the same time, maybe they want like. I mean, that doesn't even allow for 2 full rotations of the challenge mode. Unless it starts next week, which I really don't think it will. And so, yeah, maybe they want to fit it in. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the Curse of Osiris DLC raid won't drop right away. It'll be a week after. And then assuming Curse of Osiris drops the second week of December, that's 8 weeks. So that's actually 10 weeks from now. Being 8 weeks the week after next. This is a lot of crazy math going on in my head right now. So I'm assuming right now that they're going to drop challenge mode 2 weeks from Tuesday. That will give just enough time for 2 full rotations before the second week of the Curse of Osiris DLC, assuming that's when it comes out, when the Curse of Osiris raid would launch. Does that make sense? Was that super hard to follow, Jay-Z?
Well, I mean, we're not used to, and you weren't even at year 1, like, you came in at the end of year 1.
Yeah.
We're not used to DLCs dropping so quickly within the lifespan of the game. Like, we're used to DLCs hitting a year after. So, like, it makes more sense that they have to pack all this content in a 3-month span rather than, you know, over as long as they can let that stretch is what they were doing before. So I guess in that sense, or in that aspect, it does make sense. But it's I don't know. Like, I want to play a lot of Iron Banner next week, but I also want to get through the raid 3 times, which I think we can do all of them. But
yeah,
it's still one of those things. Like, the Iron Banner stuff is disgusting. Like, disgusting in a good way. Like,
yeah, good way. Remember, Jay-Z's a hit person. He uses bad words in a good way.
Yeah. You know, old man Jay-Z, you know, lingo, but yeah, like, it's I want to. So I'm gonna be playing a lot of Destiny next week, and not a lot of, like, you know, of grinding public events like I have been the last few weeks. So it'll be nice to switch it up, but
yeah,
still, like, it's gonna be a lot of content next week.
You know, that's another thing. If it is a content thing and they're trying to squish all this content in before the Curse of Osiris, and we do get another raid with the Curse of Osiris, which I fully believe Bungie will never release another DLC without a raid. Like, there's no way. Not only are raids
they got from House of Wolves.
Yeah, exactly, and they're not only coveted as some of the, you know, the content of Destiny, like the best content. They're a huge mechanic for storytelling as well. So I don't think they'll ever do another expansion, like advertised paid expansion without a raid. So I fully expect there to be one. But my one worry is if they are just trying to fit all this content in, what's that mean for the future? Like, are they going to maintain this insane content? Or is it going to seem like an even bigger drought not necessarily drought, but whenever we go a month with only one update within that month, is that going to hit us extra hard because we're used to just being weighed with all of this content? Or that was a weird way of putting that, but
yeah, there's other ways I'd rather get laid.
Yeah, right. But let's just say having all this content laid out. But are we gonna get spoiled, or are they gonna keep us? Are they gonna keep this insane flow of content? That's one thing I'm really interested in.
I don't want to be spoiled though. Like, I don't want to go through a huge drought. Like, this is better end game than vanilla Destiny 1, and people are already complaining about it. It's like, dude, did you play Destiny 1? Did you play vanilla Destiny 1? Like, this almost has as much content as year 3 Destiny 1. Like, I don't see what the problem is. Like, other than you can't get, like, you can't grind weapons like for different, like better stuff. Like,
it's insane
the
to
amount
me.
of stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane to me that there are, and you know, it's. I wouldn't even say it's the 1% of the community. I consider myself to be in the higher. All of us on our rated team, to be in the higher percentage of the 1%. We are always among the first to do everything. And
Yes.
none of us have said a word about the end game. Like, and I mean, most of us have like crazy hours in Destiny 2. Like, I don't.
We're
I feel
still
like
getting on every day, pretty much, and playing.
exactly. So I'm guessing there's like 10 people that are really, and you know, I hate to say it. I Dado's awesome. MTash is awesome. All of the people, you know, saying the stuff. You know, it's not only, they're not putting on like a fake for YouTube. I've met them all. They're all legitimately awesome people, and that's how it is. I just think they play like ungodly amounts of this game, and it's ridiculous to think, because like I play an ungodly amount of this game, right? Like how have they ran out of content already? I get that it's their job.
It's their job.
But like I play enough of this to be my job. Like I'm always on for footage or to make a video, or to delve way, you know, get footage to put away for later, or to delve deeper into the lore or whatever. Like I'm always, or streaming even. Like I'm doing this constantly as if it was my job. And I'm nowhere even close. I feel like I have a lot of the armor sets, but even then I'm not like 305 on all my characters. I probably could be if I tried hard enough, right? That's something I've never really prioritized because it doesn't matter that much. But I still have like a hell ton of fun playing this. Like even if I don't necessarily need anything for the raid, you know, stockpile tokens, run through it because it's hella fun, get better at it, make guides on, you know, new strategies, compare damage that weapons do. And I get that this is only stuff that content creators would do. I get that. But if you're not a content creator, you're not playing this much of the game, and I cannot see this much of the community, as Reddit shows us, having a problem with the amount of content there is, because there's just so much.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know, man. I don't think, does anyone in chat, if you're watching on iTunes, you know, pop over to my YouTube channel if you wouldn't mind, just answer this question. Are you having any problems with the amount of content? If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching the live version, let me know down in the comment section in the live chat. Are you having any problems with the amount of content? Because I'm personally not in it, and it blows my mind that people are. Like, I don't know. It's crazy to me. Yeah, that was a unintentional rant. Sorry about that. Lasted a bit too, but
And I play more than you, and I'm not having any issues with any of the content.
yeah, 500 public events later, Jay-Z's still enjoying the game, right?
Actually, let's check it out right now because it's more than that.
Is it more than 500?
Let's look. Let's put the token on.
Oh
to
my
that.
goodness. Yeah, everyone in chat saying they're not.
Yeah.
It's just I
Hope
don't know.
I don't have it on this guy, of course.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much
But
to
yeah,
do,
I'd
and they're
say
adding more
550.
every week. I mean, you had the faction rally
Mm-hmm.
where you could just grind and grind and grind for hours, and it was awesome. And then now you have Iron Banner next week and the Prestige mode raid, and there's just so much. The challenge modes are going to come out soon. We'll start getting hyped for the Curse of Osiris DLC. Like, there's so much life in this game, and it just kind of aggravates me when people act like there's not. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I don't necessarily think anyone needs to be worried about Bungie releasing all this content like this, you know? I think it's a good thing. I think it's showing that their minds are in the right place, and that adding these two other companies for Activision was a huge move in the right direction. And I'm excited to see how this will continue after the second DLC in in May or April next year, between the traditional drought area between May and September. I'm really interested to see how they will upkeep content, keep things fresh and interesting, and make sure that people don't leave the game. And yeah.
Well, I mean, but you got to remember, you're going to be getting probably another 2 million people into the game around Christmas time as well, with
Yeah.
our new DLC dropping. So
Yeah, exactly.
just that, like, it's gonna keep the community fresh, and you're gonna have all these new people wanting to explore all the content that we've been exploring for 3 months. So yeah, it's as long as they keep a decent schedule of things coming out, and if it's like closer to the content of, say, Rise of Iron rather than the close to the content of Dark Below or House of Wolves, like, they won't have a problem. Like, because Rise of Iron is like should have been what the normal DLCs were, so something similar to that. I'm not saying that was quite a bit of content, but it was also unexpected content, and because we weren't expecting that, we were expecting a new game, that about that same time.
Yeah, but
so,
it did a great job of holding off. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got, and then like Age of Triumph, further extended that.
Super
like,
spoiled us.
If we get a DLC in December that like Rise of Iron, I will be completely content. Like,
yeah,
adding a whole new loot pool of stuff, adding a new raid that so far that they've shown, they can pump out really good raids now. They're
I'm gonna be
better each time, and
if they keep
go ahead.
the Leviathan raid up to light and they keep it relevant, I'll be happy with the Crota's End size DLC. Absolutely. If we have 2 raids to do every week,
No.
yeah. I mean, it's
no.
To a point,
as
like
long as it's a good raid. Like, I didn't think Crota was a good raid. Like,
yeah, okay, fair. I was talking about size of the expansion. Story missions.
Okay.
You have a weekly, or not a weekly, like events that come back with a Iron Banner, but with new refresh thing, and a raid. Plus a new social space. We get a whole new patrol area, which is something we didn't get with Crota. I mean, this is very obviously going to be a Rise of Iron size DLC. A new social space and a new patrol area already confirmed. So I mean, it will be the size of Rise of Iron. But I'm just saying, like, if they keep the old raids relevant, maybe drop in a couple exclusive rewards here and there. We still haven't seen anything about a ghost or a sparrow. If you add those things into the drop pool after the Curse of Osiris DLC comes out, I'll go back and play it. I have no problem. I'll probably be running that raid anyways, just because I like to keep fresh up on my raids, right? But yeah,
well, the year 1 of Destiny 1, Dark Below and Vault of Glass were relevant all the way up until Taken King came out.
Yeah.
So I was running both raids 6 times a week, or 3 times a week. Once per character, up until pretty much Taken King came out. So, like, obviously, if you could see by my raid completions in Destiny 1, I did quite a bit. So
Too many.
I very much enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I feel you. I would have done the same thing if I would have been playing back then, for sure. Yeah, no, I don't think we have anything to worry about with content, and I'm excited to see where Bungie goes in the future, and that's pretty much the bottom line. Like, that's pretty much all that can be said about that for now. Do you have anything else to add?
I think we're missing the whole point, though, is I think Bungie is learning from all the mistakes that they made in Destiny 1. And that's all you can ask for from a developer. Like, literally all you can ask for from a developer is learn from your mistakes and better yourselves. And it seems like that's what they're going for with all this, with these DLCs, adding social spaces. They learned with House of Wolves, hey, we should probably include a raid with every DLC because that's what people are looking for. And it makes people very unhappy when we don't.
Yeah.
They included a raid with the next 2. And so, like, for them to continue to learn and expand upon that and make this game better, and they're passionate about making this game better, which I think we all like. Everybody wants to lambaste Bungie for any number of things, but they don't understand that Bungie plays this game every day as well. They love this game and they want it to be better, and they want it to be the best it can be. So
preach it.
It's exciting. Like,
no, I agree. This is something that gets overlooked. I think too many people are like, Bungie screws the game on purpose, and that literally makes 0 sense, right? They enjoy the game.
Yeah,
it's literally extremely beneficial to them if we like it too. So, I mean, they're trying their hardest, and I think I think it's gonna be amazing. And nothing yet has disappointed me. Everything they've done has literally been a plus, and I can't wait to see it keeps going. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Do you have anything else to say about that, or are you ready to go to community feedback?
Let's go to community feedback.
All right. So Jason the Master King asks, do you think events like the Dawning or Festival of the Lost are coming back? All right, Jay-Z, I'll let you take this one.
No.
You do it. No. Neither of them.
No. So I think anything where they can get microtransactions, they're going to bring back. If it's just cosmetic things. So they'll bring something... They might bring something similar. But
Yeah.
I think they're going to bring more, like, meatier... like, things that with more substance out on those type of release schedules rather than, hey, let's release this thing where you can get everything in a week and you can buy everything if you want in a week, or you spend like $100 and get everything that's in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they'll still bring that out with these things, but I think they'll add more content to it because it only makes sense for them to do that instead of having these long droughts like we had in Destiny 1. What do you think?
I think I'm... So just from a lore perspective, I think I'm going to have to disagree. I agree that everything, if they do bring them back, there will be much meatier. They have to be. But I think, especially with the last Festival of the Lost really driving in the fact that this is to honor all the fallen Guardians, and with, the city taking such a heavy hit with Gaul and the Red Legion, I think that the Festival of the Lost, like, if it didn't return, that would put, like, a huge plot hole in the lore where people are like, so you're celebrating all these Lost Guardians, but then in the single biggest catastrophe in Guardian history, you don't reflect on that and remember all those Guardians. So I think that would make sense. And then with the Dawning, especially with the Rise of Iron, they really drove a nail in there, like, this is something we do now, So I would say I think that they're both going to return in premise. I think they're going to be hugely altered. SRL might come back. I think that would be a huge hit, especially with the Guardians who had never played Destiny 1. I want a freaking SRL map on the Leviathan. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. No?
I don't want SRL.
Oh, okay.
No, but I do. Okay, so like I didn't do much lore in Destiny 1 because you had to go on the internet and read it, and I'd rather play the game. But I understand from a lore now that you've explained it, like it would make sense to have some kind of festival celebrating. I don't know if it'll necessarily be the Festival of the Lost because I don't know if that they wanted to keep that with the previous game or not. But it does make sense now that you explain it from a lore standpoint. So. I guess I'm probably gonna have to change my answer on that one. Thanks, Carol.
Yeah, sorry, man. they can rewrite it. They can be like, now that the speaker's dead. Spoiler alert! Oh shoot, I need to start being careful. They might be like, all right, we're gonna start doing something similar in premise, but it's something different where you go and teabag fallen corpses or something. Like it could be literally anything. I think events with those names will be returning. Do I think it'll be the same thing? Who the heck knows, right? But it just makes too much sense for, quote-unquote, the Dawning and the Festival of the Lost in premise to return, especially now. So, yeah, I think they'll return to some extent with new rewards, probably more aesthetic than anything, new crazy armor sets, new ornaments for exotics, that kind of stuff. Nothing substantial, I'd say. I'd say like SRL is the extent of new content that we would get, and I think that would be, again, temporary. I think Bungie learned their lesson after they spent like a year coding SRL for private matches, and then literally no one did them. So I think it would be a once a year thing still, and I think I think it's too popular not to bring back. So yeah. I think that's pretty much it on that. Garrett Stone says, I get that microtransactions make them more money, but I think it would defeat the purpose of the game if you can buy everything in 2 minutes instead of grinding it out. So that's why I like how they're doing the microtransactions in Destiny 2, where it's definitely random, but you earn yourself the bright dust to use on other stuff, and then it's still purely aesthetic. So if they brought new weapons and new armor and stuff with these events, you could still buy these new emotes, but there's still a reason for you to play, and that's part of the Bungie model that I've always liked. They seem to never cross that line of pay to win or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm sure I'm fine with the microtransactions, especially if like someone with a gambling addiction can fund my my next DLC, you know, or live event rather. I'm kind of cool with that. Not saying that gambling addictions are a light thing, but that's just an example.
But microtransactions are the backbone of new free content for the game, and I don't think people realize that enough. Like you don't have to buy it, and as long as it's just cosmetic stuff, like who cares? Unless you really want that stuff, and then they still give you an option to get it normally through XP, and like you can't get as many as if you bought it, but you still have the ability to get stuff. So it's not like they just lock that out to paid customers. But like if you the more people buy those things, the better content we get, and they look like they've always done a good job of putting most of that back into development. Like whether it be the Age of Triumph stuff.
I think
like that,
the Rise of Iron is the perfect example of how big of an impact these microtransactions can make. Because if you look, like we got the Festival of the Lost, we got the Dawning, you know, the increased Dawning with strike scoring and stuff, all for free. And then on top of that, like Jay-Z was saying, we got the entirety of the Age of Triumph. And you know, having to go back and reprogram all those raids and put in new spawn locations and those armor sets that had to, you know, literally the most animated sets in Destiny history had to take so many man hours to create. You know, that's all being funded by that, because this isn't paid DLC. This is stuff that they're just giving to us. All of it was funded by microtransactions. So I like the premise, you know. I like the way they did it here, where, and very similar to how you get like the treasures of ages, or I think that's what they were called. Every week you get like 3 of them or whatever. Now you get your bright engram. So literally, if you play more of the game, you have a higher chance to get all of this locked content. That's brilliant. It's just a gorgeous way to reward people who play more.
Exactly, and as long as it's not pay to win.
Yeah, as long as it's aesthetic. Exactly.
You know, yes.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much it. We've pretty much either discussed everything or hit on stuff in the past for everything else in chat. And yeah, so do you have anything else, Jay-Z, to say about anything we talked about today, or are you good?
I'm good.
All right, he's good, guys. So I've been Scaro9. If you're watching on iTunes, please consider taking a second and leaving us a review. That helps us so much. If you're watching the archived version on YouTube, I'll have something down either in the description or in the comments. If you could just take 2 seconds of your day, go leave us a review. That would help us quite a bit. We have so many more viewers on iTunes than I ever expected. So thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate your viewership. I hope you enjoy each week. And if you have any constructive criticism, you know, leave that in the reviews too. I feel like people on iTunes don't have the same voice as people on YouTube, just because obviously there's no like comment section. But you know, leave it there. We'll take it into consideration. We both are big fans of constructive criticism. We both take it pretty well, and yeah, we'd appreciate that. If you're interested in following me on social medias, you can find me at Scaro9 on Twitter or Scaro9 on YouTube, and then Jay-Z, you can do your thing.
It's Jay-Z Basketball 25 on Xbox and on the Twitters.
On the Twitters, all right, man. So good week, episode 37. Episode 38, we'll have a lot to talk about next week with our opinions on Iron Banner and the prestigious raid and whatever juicy details we get next week as well. So I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, until then, we'll see you next week.
Peace.